Since the Commission's handed down their recommendations, my office has continually been working and getting feedback from the veteran community, and most importantly, looking at amendments that will make the government's response to the Royal Commission's recommendations work for our veterans. Recommendation 122 of the Royal Commission seeks to establish a new statutory entity headed up by a commissioner to oversee reform across the whole of the defence system. I had an amendment that would give the Defence and Veteran Services Commissioner the powers of a Royal Commissioner, the power to provide independent oversight, the power to hold public hearings and drive reform to improve suicide prevention and wellbeing outcomes for serving and ex-serving Australian Defence Force members. Unless that National Commissioner has these powers, then things won't change, and our veterans will continue to take their lives in record numbers. I understand that we do not have, and I have not got a magic wand to stop all suicides. But if we get this right, hell, we can reduce those numbers. The government loved this amendment so much that they've copied it themselves. They wanted the win, and that's okay. I don't care who gets the credit, as long as our veterans and their families get the benefits. We must extend the coverage of our liability to situations where members of the Australian Defence Force sustain injuries or fatalities during physical exercise or whilst on shore leave. The way it is now, the liability falls way short, especially in cases of injury or death occurring outside the narrowly defined scope of on-duty service. Delays in accepting liability, delays in claims being ticked off massively impacts on our veterans and their families. There has to be a time limit. My amendments means that claims for permanent impairment will be resolved within 120 days, incapacity in 90 days. This amendment includes safeguards to stop the clock to account for reasonable delays, like medical advice.
Thank you, Senator.
This amendment includes safeguards to stop the clock to account for reasonable delays, like medical advice, if the Commission does not determine the claim by the end of the consideration period. The Commission is taken to have accepted the claim. Veterans who have to take their matters to the Veterans Review Board can't be represented by a lawyer. This is hugely unfair for some of them, and it flips all the power to the DVA staff, which are expert lawyers. They're expert lawyers. The known enemy, as we like to call them, who do have access to legal representation before the hearing. My amendment attempts to level the playing field so veterans can get legal representation themselves when they go before the Veterans Review Board to plead their case. It's a no-brainer. I reckon it gives the veterans a fair go. It also removes Section 353L, which allows the Veterans Review Board to imprison a veteran for up to 6 months if they insult a person, interrupt proceedings, create a disturbance or cause contempt as part of their proceedings. We need to know as much as possible about the ongoing health and wellbeing of our veterans. That means research and data gathering. The amendment responds to recommendations 114, 115 and 117 of the Royal Commission. It establishes an expert committee on veteran research made up of people with real skills and real experience. The amendment also requires the department to establish work plans to outline the immediate research priorities of the department in relation to health and wellbeing, long-term research goals and detailed actions to address gaps in the legislation. My amendments are not perfect, but they will go a hell of a long way to fixing the injustice that we've put up with for so too long that is within the system, has resulted in so many of your mates taking their lives. I ask everyone in this place to vote for my amendments. Veterans put their lives on the line for this country. The least that we can do is make sure that they are looked after during and beyond their service. I would also like to put on record the shocking and slow response the Coalition displayed over 9 years. They did everything they could to resist a Royal Commission. They aided it and abetted by the National RSL. They kept telling me and the veterans nothing to see here. The National President of the RSL even went after Julianne Finney, accusing her of campaigning for a Royal Commission to search guilt for a failed relationship with her son. You, Mr Melick, subsequently apologised, but I have to ask why on earth this man is still the head of the National RSL. It is certainly not the request and it is not the want of every digger who has served and previously serving. I would like to acknowledge the work of Minister Keogh and his willingness to work with me over the summer and over the past 2 years. I want to take some time here to make sure that the veterans know this. I cannot praise Minister Keogh enough. He has worked over the Christmas period with me. He's given up time with his family. It has been very enduring with him to go through this with me for the past 2 years. He has carried tears behind closed doors. I want you to know that. He has fed and can put everything he possibly can into this, knowing we needed to get as much possible as we possibly could through before an election. We have done everything that we possibly can over the last 8 weeks to get that National Commissioner up and to start ticking off on those Royal Commission recommendations. We cannot possibly have any hours left between the Minister and I to do anything else left. We have nothing left. I just wanted you to know that Minister Keogh, during that period, over the last 10 years I have been up there, the revolving door of ministers has been an absolute shocker for you people. This person, this Minister Keogh, has put his heart and his soul into this, and I will pay credit where credit is due. I know at times that we have sat behind closed doors and cried together, and we have tried to do everything possible in the last 8 weeks, and I cannot thank you enough. From the bottom of my heart, Minister Keogh, I want you to know that, and I want every veteran out there to know that, because nobody during the period of time I've been up there has ever done what you have done and stood beside me. I want to thank the Prime Minister for giving me the extra staff member over the last 2 years, and I want to thank you, Luke Brown. I don't think this will get you sacked. I want every veteran to know out there that the Assistant Commissioner, Luke Brown, has saved many lives in the last 2 years, because when this government come in, they gave me full access to Luke Brown. I'm not sure if you worked for DVA or Jacqui Lambie, but I cannot thank you enough, Luke. I cannot thank you enough. The pressure that you have taken off the people in my office has been absolutely remarkable. It has stopped being a revolving door for you veterans out there as well, and it's caused a hell of a lot less harm to my office and the people working there in their last 2 years. So, Luke, thank you. And just to let you know, I have another 6 people I will need to come and see you in the next day, and I'm sorry I didn't ring you Monday. I'll be in touch with you tomorrow, mate, but thank you. Thank you. Finally, I would like to thank all the organisations, the veterans, the mothers and the families who have fought for the Royal Commission. I know it has taken it out of you. I know it has taken it out of me, especially Julianne Finney and the mums who have worked so tirelessly, and the dads for many, many years to campaign for veterans and the recommendations of the Royal Commission. Julianne, I want you to know that your son would be so proud of you, I know the Royal Commissioners, you were shaken, and I know that you have been moved by the testimony from so many. I know that has been extremely harmful to you, and I want to thank you for going through that and doing everything you could for us. Nothing can compensate for the pain and the loss of losing your child, and that is the burden that many parents and many families will have to carry with them for the rest of their lives from their military service. The passage of this bill won't fix everything, but the speed of the government response is now down to you. So once again to you, Matt, thank you. I know that we have tried to rush this through, and I'm pretty sure we've got it right. We've got to be damn close. There is still a lot of work to be done. There's still over 120 recommendations to be put through as quickly as possible. We have worked hard over the last 8 years to do as much as we possibly can in my office to fix the DVA and defence. And like I said, it has taken the toll on my staff, and I've lost some of them along the way. I thank my staff once again for your commitment over the last 8 years to the veterans. I thank all of you. I am up for a re-election this year, and I'm hoping that Tasmanians will give me another 6 years. But if they don't, I want the veteran community to know I want you to stay vigilant. I will always stand beside you. I know you will need to keep holding Defence and the Department of Veterans Affairs, and most importantly, the government to account. You must do that. And I say that because I want youth service organisations to listen to me. Listen very carefully. There is a lot of you out there. There are thousands. I want you to stop fighting with each other because it is not helpful. It is not helpful. And you are not just standing together as one, so you have no strength. You have a national RSL. That is useless. We know that. But if you service organisations continue to fight with each other and bitter with each other, you will continue not to save lives. It makes my job up here very difficult to deal with you. And you are not being fair to your mates. If you are part of an organisation and you fall out with your mate, don't go and start another one. It has not been helpful. I know that many of you in these organisations are also physically and psychologically damaged. I know your patience only goes so far. And I know for many, many years you have been fighting a government who has destroyed you. I know that. But the biggest enemy I have right now, and that we have right now, the veterans out there, are you people. You people, because you won't come together as one. For God's sake, even the Vietnam veterans worked it out. They only split into 2 groups, not thousands. That has been extremely harmful to us. I want you to go away and think about that. I want to see you like a one group, one union. And that's where you should be. And that is what our national RSL should have been. And it has failed us. But it has taken great delight over the years in watching us chew each other up for breakfast. Oh, they've loved it. I beg of you, you will only become a force again if you come together as one. You must come together as one. You have to do that today. Then we will get what we want. But until you do that, you will make the fight harder. I want you to go away and have a good think about that. Surely one of you is big enough to say the rest of us are not doing the job, and we need to come together as one. I don't even care what you call us, but bring us together. Bring us together, because it gives us more power and it gives us more might, and then we can help our own. That is how it works. Sometimes I know it feels like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But whenever I have felt defeated, the resilience and the strength of you, even in the chaos you are in that service organisation community, has got me through. I want to make sure that you know that. I want to thank all of you for helping me along the way. And there are some who have decided, along the way that have thrown names at me and others out there, and it has been very unhelpful. But I think I've said enough about service organisations out there. All I'm asking you to do in my last minute is to go away and think about where you are. Because what you are doing in thousands of groups out there and how you've all separated is not helpful. It is not helpful to saving your mates.